It's been a dream for a lot of people to have their cold emails entirely written by AI, but so far the results just haven't quite been there yet. Luckily for us, there is Jax. Jax gave us a prompt or a few prompts he's been using internally to write cold emails that even the busiest people they cannot help but reply to, and you might even get a chuckle out of it. The best part is you can build this for yourself for absolutely free if you're currently using Clay. Now, if you're not using Clay yet, then you're missing out. So you definitely want to check out the link in the description if you're watching on YouTube, which will give you 3,000 free credits so you can try out Clay all by yourself. Then in this video, I'll show you exactly step by step how to build your own AI cold email writer, and I'll even show you the exact prompts that you should use. So say no to staring at blank pages, awkward AI emails, or angry prospects, and say hello to your new favorite AI cold email writer. Let's dive in. So here's what we're talking about. This is the type of email that this writer will send, just for you to have some context before we dive into this. So this is an email to someone who works at a cybersecurity company, and it came from someone who works at a company called CMO Huddles, like a community and coaching for B2B marketing leaders. So they say, hey Anna, marketing is essential, but can also sometimes be challenging. Curious if your team has been navigating the complexities of cybersecurity marketing strategy. It used this, I will show you in a minute. CMO Huddles helps B2B marketing leaders like you gain confidence, connection, and coverage. Open to exploring how our community can provide strategic support and seamless networking. Best regards. And then this would be your name, your title. So this is just one example. Now, some of them, they're a lot better than this. Some of them, they're just like this one, and every now and then you catch a bad one. But overall, I'm very impressed with the results of this, coming from someone who's been trying to get this, to work for a couple of years now, probably. So this is what it looks like in Clay. I will show you the exact Clay table, exactly how you build it, the exact prompts that you're using. If you want the actual Clay table, then I'm going to drop that in the mastermind. So that is at claymba.com/mastermind. You can join the mastermind, you can get the table there, or check out claymba.com for more info. For now, if you follow along, you'll get a table as well. You just got to build it yourself. So basically what we're doing, in our case, we're getting data from a webhook, but you can get that data however you want. It's about the prompts that are most important. So we have a person that we want to reach out to, and then there's our own company, right? So we want to start with our own company, and then we want to start with the other person in our company, and we will sort of want to blend that together into a relevant email saying, hey, this is what your company does, this is what my company does. I know this is what you're into personally, this is what your hobbies are. Let's potentially meet and do business together. That's the really basic breakdown. So how I did it here, I pretended to be from this company, from, for example, CMO Huddles or Lead Magic, Persona, Lavender. But in your case, you can just skip this step and just put in the information of your own company. Basically, what I'm doing is using a tool called ClayGen to go to the website of these companies and make a summary of what the company does. So in this case, we have a prompt right here. It's really basic, basically saying, visit the website, provide me with a brief analysis of what this company does. Make sure your analysis answers the following questions. What do they do? What do they sell? Like, who do they sell to, and how do they help? So that's what it does. So CMO Huddles is an inspired community of B2B marketing leaders that delivers confidence, connection, and coverage. They offer services to B2B marketing leaders looking for support and networking opportunities. They also have a partner program for subscribers. So we do that for our own company, and then we also do that for the company that we're reaching out to. So as you can see here, the company of Anna that we just went over is called Deep Seas. So has your team been navigating the complexities, which is sort of like a reference to that, which I thought was pretty good. So we're just going to do the same step again. The company of the lead that we want to reach out to, just ask ClayGen, hey, can you give us a brief summary of what the company does? And we're going to be using that as input. So over the years and years of working with AI, what I learned is that having multiple steps is pretty much vital to getting good output. Where you first start with one step, obviously. So saying, okay, give me a summary, then you get that, and then you use that summary as input for your next prompt, instead of just trying to do everything at once, saying, visit this website, say what you think, then use that for this and that. So you have all these steps in one prompt, not going to work. Or even worse, saying, write a good cold email for this company, for example. Then you leave so much or open for interpretation that that's just not going to work. So instead, we're using a multi-step, let's call it sequence here, where we now have a company analysis. We have that company analysis as input that we can use for next prompt. And then what we want to do next is we want to have a LinkedIn summary of the actual person that we want to reach out to. So cold emails are all about relevance. So we want to make sure that we have enough input that we can then, create or use that relevance pretty much. So basically what we're doing, we've enriched these people using Clay. So there are people either that you already have in your list, or in my case, they're coming in through a webhook. You enrich them. So then you get all this information right here. So it has their summary, for example, which is obviously a goldmine in a lot of cases if they're this extensive. So sometimes they're shorter, but then there's a lot of other information as well. Their title, the projects that they've been working on, their educational history, their experience, all these things, we condense that into a summary. So basically ask GPT to write a summary of that LinkedIn profile. So we're saying, summarize this information on this person's LinkedIn profile, keep the summary to 2 sentences. That's all we're doing. So what I could and probably would add to this going forward is something like, okay, focus, things like hobbies or things that are unique to this person, maybe fun activities that they mentioned that are important to them. You can add that and see if it can pull that out. But either way, the summary is already pretty good as is. So in this case, NSC is a chief marketing officer at deepseas.com with a background in marketing strategy for startups and multinational enterprises, specializing in SaaS, IoT, AI, cybersecurity, and digital marketing. Also, bachelor degree, has a lot of experience in leading marketing teams. That's the summary that we got. So just to recap, we now have an analysis of what DeepSeas does. We have a summary of the CMO who are reaching out to, of their LinkedIn profile. Then we have those 2 things. And we obviously know what our company does. In this case, we're pretending our company is CMO Huddles. So we have that right here. This is what CMO Huddles does. And we're going to tie all of that together and we're going to write the actual email. So that's the final step here, where we're saying, okay, act as if you're a creative copywriter who writes prospecting emails to the buyer personas that convert. The company you work for is called CMO Huddles in this case. In your case, if you work for CMO Huddles, you want this to be a constant. So for every single lead you're reaching out to, you can just type CMO Huddles here, right? In my case, because I'm making a tool out of this that I will show you later, this needs to be a variable. In your case, just replace this with your company name. So there's also no need to have that column in there. This is what your company does. Again, here we're providing with the GPT or the ClayGen generated company analysis. In your case, you can just, company description, you just type your company description here, and that's everything, because there's a constant. Your company always does the same thing. Then pretend you're reaching out to, and then that is the variable. Okay, for every row that is different, right? NSC, Joe Gilkey, Michael Ritchie, Clark Barron, etc., etc. So that's the name of your lead. This is a summary of their LinkedIn profile. So we're providing it with that background. So then the LinkedIn summary response goes there. This is what the company this person works for does, and then there we provide it with the company analysis. So say, pretend you're reaching out to person. This is a summary of their LinkedIn profile. This is what their company does. So that's basically all that we're doing, and then we're giving them more information. And again, full credits to Jax here. He said, your job was to take the RRR framework, I call it the pirate framework, and write a creative email. R stands for research, retention, recall. The main kick here is retention. Now, I'm not going to read all of this, but you can pause the video if you like. Basically says, write me a creative email based on the sample and framework given, follow the exact same structured email length, then some restrictions, which is always important, is given an example. In Clay, you can give this example separate, but I included it in here and it worked perfectly fine. So this is an example email. In this case, to, like a person, that job title CISO, but imagine they call it John and they really like dogs, which is something that Jack saw on their LinkedIn profile. So, hey John, dogs are cute, but can also sometimes be loud. Curious if the team has been barking when it comes to MDM and compliance. He works for a company called Swift. And then, so as you can see, there's a lot of referencing things that he found on this person's LinkedIn profile. Okay, hey, that person says they're into dogs, then great, I'm going to use that for relevancy in my email. So that's how he writes his emails, and we're looking to mimic that using AI as closely as we can. Then just repeating this, which I've noticed is pretty important when you're working with AI, just repeating the restrictions, making sure that it actually remembers that. So that's everything. Those are all the prompts that we have. And then it will write the emails right here. So this one we already saw here, like sometimes Christian is like climbing a steep hill. Maybe it says something about this person enjoying climbing or hiking. Then as you can see, they're short, they're snappy. There's some things. So for example, like they call their company, they have this in there. So if you first clean up the company name before you use as input, then you're not going to have this issue. It's just me being a little bit sloppy. Then again, just the same structure. Like it can use maybe a little formatting, but you can in Clay, you can have like a back check in that, a formula saying if there's no white space between the lines, and add white space between the lines. So you can just make sure the formatting is correctly. You can even use AI for that, saying, hey, here's an email, clean it up by making sure there's white space between all the lines, that type of thing. So you can very easily clean this up, but everything else is just as it should. So they just talk about ninjas, which I think is interesting. So Clark Barron is CEO of Ronin, a cyber. Yeah, I remember this. So let me show you how cool this is. And then for people who don't know, so who is Ronin? Ronin is like a samurai becomes a ronin upon the death of his master, etc. So basically, it here reference that ninjas are stealthy, referencing the samurai ninja link. Now, don't come after me for about the difference between ninjas and samurais, but I thought that was a pretty cool reference. So there's that. So that's the type of emails it's able to write. Now, if you want to test this out for yourself, then check out claymba.com/writer. So all you have to do to test it out is take your company LinkedIn page. So let's just do a test. So let's say you're working for a company called Hey Digital. Shout out to Hey Digital, who do great work in the SaaS space. So there we go, company LinkedIn page, you drop that in here, and imagine we're reaching out to, for example, Alex, who works at Clay. Shout out to Clay, obviously. LinkedIn, you have your prospect, and then you drop your email in here and you will receive the email. So you can try this out for yourself. And then in my case, the role comes in here and it will actually start going through the entire workflow, and it will start doing the company analysis, it will start doing the research, and then the moment it's done with the research, it will actually, so it already has the LinkedIn summary. The moment all the research is done, then it will start writing the email. In my case, then I'm adding it to Smart Lead campaigns because that was easy, and that will send you the email that it wrote. So in this case, let's see. So Alex, you're also smart, can often be very efficient, wondering if your team is humming when it comes to AI lead generation, outbound automation. This is what we do. We specialize in PPC landing page and video ads, open to a quick brainstorm to see how you can evaluate your automation game and maximize your pipeline potential. I would say this one is pretty good, but definitely not the best one from the ones that we have in here. We can try rewriting it and then see what it comes up with. But either way, from all the results that I had so far in years and years trying this is the very closest that I've gotten to writing emails that are actually, phenomenal. They are 10 out of 10. So in this case, it rewrote something that I think is already better, saying, hey, Alex, rocket ships are thrilling, but can also sometimes misfire. Curious if the team has been launched successfully with your AI lead generation automation efforts. Hey Digital does this and that. Open taking journey to the stars. I really like that. So the email is already quite a bit better. As you can see, it writes really strong, solid, snappy emails. I'm very, very happy with the outputs. And now you're able to build it for yourself. So there you have it, your very own cold email writer you can build yourself with this step-by-step tutorial and the exact prompts that you need. They're also in there. Hopefully that's helpful. If you want more info, if you want to try it out for yourself, check out claymba.com/writer. For now, thanks for watching and hopefully see you in the next video. Bye-bye.